Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either October 11th or 12th, 2022, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? There's a bit of a theme to this week's video. I'm basically going to be focusing a lot on first appearances. There are a lot of first appearances coming out this week, so we'll be talking about them when we talk about the books that are coming out this week. Now, usually I start off these videos by taking a look at my pick from 2 weeks ago, but I haven't read that book yet. It was The Nice House on the Lake, issue number 10. I haven't read it yet. I'll get to it probably in next week's video. So let's skip past that part right now and move forward with the books that are coming out this week. Now, the first book I want to mention to you is the one book that's not one of my honorable mentions, but it is a book that I am pulling this week, and that book is Star Wars, issue number 28. I'm a fan of this Star Wars book. It's been a really good read. I'm not the most gigantic Star Wars fan in the world, but I just like good things, and this has been a good thing, so I've been checking it out. So I'm absolutely going to pick it up this week. Just kind of a little side note I want to mention as well is that there is a book called Star Wars Visions, issue number 1, coming out this week. It's from the creative mind behind the Star Wars Visions episode, The Duel. This is the sequel, Ronin and the Blind. So if you liked Star Wars Visions and you want more of that in comic book form, this might be a book to consider checking out this week. I just wanted to let you know about it. But let's go ahead and dig into my honorable mentions. The first one I want to mention to you, some of these descriptions I'm going to read this week, some I'm not. This one I'm not going to read. This first one for you is Batman Incorporated, issue number 1 from DC. This is basically an international team of Batman family people who are now teaming up, led by Ghostmaker. A lot of them have had first appearances already, but some of them haven't. According to Key Collector Comics, this is the first appearance of Black Mist, a member of Batman Incorporated, as well as a first cameo appearance of Sky Spider. So if you're interested in some Bat family related first appearances, or if you really like Batman Incorporated in general, or Ghostmaker, or any combination of these things, this might be a book to consider picking up this week. The next book I'm going to mention to you is a new book and therefore has first appearances. It is Legacy of Violence, issue number 1 from Mad Cave Studios. Here's the description. A Legacy of Violence by Masters of Horror Cullen Bunn and Andrea Muti, with letters by Russ Wooten, follows Dr. Nick Shaw, an honest doctor just trying to help people. But one day when a patient gets out of control, Nick suddenly begins recalling past memories he had kept hidden away. That's when he decides to join Doctors Without Borders and head straight for Central America. But his past still comes calling. With a serial killer on the loose in the small town of Desante, Honduras, Nick's flashbacks begin to intensify and become clearer. Was Nick meant to go to Honduras? Is this all part of the killer's plan? Find out what Nick has been repressing all these years and why. Okay, so this is a book that I picked this week because it's new, because it has first appearances in it, because it's from Cullen Bunn and Andrea Muti. Cullen Bunn does a lot of work, and he's good. He's super talented, and so he's worth paying attention to. Also, this has a bit of a scary, scoopy, Halloween-y horror type of vibe, and as we get closer and closer to Halloween, I feel compelled to point out spooky things. And this seems like it could be a spooky book worth checking out from a well-established, talented comic book writer. So it may be something to consider picking up this week. The next book I want to mention to you is... what should I mention next? Let's do this one next. How about Black Panther, issue number 10 from Marvel Comics? Here's the description. The devastating finale of Range Wars. While the colonialist keeps the Avengers busy fighting his army, he sends his most dangerous lieutenant, the Buffalo Soldier, to deal with T'Challa. With advanced weaponry that can damage vibranium, T'Challa must think fast if he hopes to survive this fight and keep Earth from becoming the latest acquisition of the colonialist. Okay, so according to Key Collector Comics, this book is, let me find it here so I'm giving you it exactly as I should. Oh, I don't have it. This book is the first full appearance of this Buffalo Soldier. And I believe that this Buffalo Soldier is not going to be kind of like here today, gone tomorrow character. I was watching a video by somebody on YouTube that I like a lot, Jim Comics. I highly recommend going to his channel, checking out his videos, subscribing, whole deal. He mentioned that basically it seems like in the world of Wakanda and Black Panther, that they're creating their own kind of Avengers type team that comes from Wakanda, and it appears as though Buffalo Soldier is going to be amongst the members of that team. So he seems to be a character that we will be seeing more of in the future, and they might be adversaries right now, but they might be working together in the future. So if you're bullish on Black Panther and the future of Black Panther spec, which I am, I would recommend picking up this book this week, because I think there might be some potential from this Buffalo Soldier character. I also want to mention that there is a new book coming out this week called Wakanda. It's a limited series. This is issue number 1 of 5. I'm not going to read the description, but basically what it does is it focuses on fan favorite Wakandian characters. Each issue does. This one focuses on Shuri. But then also there are backup stories that are the history of the Black Panthers. We'll go back in time and see stories about previous people who have held the mantle of Black Panther. That has some potential to have some first appearances in it. Now, it's not the best first appearance spec out there in the world because it's historical, but who knows? T'Challa travels through time and meets these Black Panthers in some movie that he does sometime, or he's advised by the ghosts of the ancestors of Black Panther. Who knows? So I just want to point that out to you, that there is some first appearance potential in these backstories. So if you are interested in that, you might consider checking out Wakanda. All right, what's next? Yes, this has a first appearance in it. The next book I'm going to mention to you is Venom, issue number 11 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Demonification, or demonification, starts here. After the explosive and gut-wrenching revelations of Venom 10, the third terrifying arc of Venom begins in explosive fashion, with Dylan Brock at the mercy of Bedlam. But where is Dylan's father, the original Venom? Where is Eddie Brock? Okay, so that description is not leading you to why you should consider picking up this book this week, but that cover is. That cover is featuring the first full appearance of Sleeper Agent, the Sleeper symbiote with a new host. This is via Key Collector Comics. It also says here that I'll mention possible appearance of a 7th Venom. Cameo in Free Comic Book Day 2022 Spider-Man/Venom number 1 as a pair of disembodied eyes mentioned in Venom 10. Okay, so there might be something additional there, but it's pretty clearly at least the first full appearance of Sleeper Agent. Now, there have been lots of symbiotes over the years, and so is symbiote specs especially hot? Nah. But if you are interested in this story and you've been looking for an excuse to check it out, maybe this new arc and this new character might be reasons for you to do just that. The next book that I want to mention to you is a new book. Therefore has first appearances. It is a limited series. It's called Approach. Issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Boom Studios. Here's the description. In this turbulent new horror miniseries from writers Jeremy Hahn and Jason A. Hurley and artist Jesus Hervas, a storm is coming that's bringing more than bad weather. When airport employees Mac and Abigail find themselves snowed in after a blizzard, they witness a terrible plane crash. After pulling a survivor from the wreckage, they realize a terrifying truth. This plane has been missing for 27 years. The nightmare has only just begun, though, as people trapped in the airport soon find themselves confronted by what this plane actually brought back. For those with a fear of flying, it's not the sky that deserves dread, but what lies beyond it. Okay, this sounds cool. I have to admit, when I first started reading the description, I was like, oh, I don't know. But the deeper and deeper it got into like the supernatural of like this plane having been missed for a long time, and there's even additional things on top of that, all of that added up to a compelling description to me. So it's something that I think sounds like it could be a good read. I don't know the artist or the writer personally, so I can't speak to that. But like I said, I think this is an interesting description. So if you're looking for something new and indie to try this week, I might steer you in the direction of The Approach. All right, the next book that I want to mention to you is Ghostwriter, issue number 7 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Shadowhunters. There's a new splinter group within the FBI that is charged with quelling the rise in supernatural activity in the country. And it's helmed by Agent Talia Warroad, who aims to enlist the dangerous power of the drifter named Johnny Blaze. Okay. Nothing in that description is why we are going to be talking about this book this week. But the reason we are going to be talking about this book this week is this guy. Yes, according to Key Collector Comics, this is the first appearance of this guy. He's Exhaust. So he looks pretty cool. And he looks like a solid nemesis for Ghostwriter. So I definitely think he is a bad guy worth checking out and paying attention to. I'll also mention that Key Collector says this is the first team appearance of the Shadowhunters, an FBI splinter agency led by Talia Warroad. That was alluded to in the description. But I think the main reason to check out this book this week is that guy, Exhaust. He's got a cool name, he's got a cool look, and a cool vibe that I think goes really, really well with Ghostwriter. So I would definitely consider checking that one out this week. Okay, I think that I got all of the things that I wanted to tell you about. Okay, great. So those are all honorable mentions. Now we are going to talk about the one book this week that I would buy if I could buy just one book that's new this week. I didn't do a great job with that, but I'm going to plow right through. My just one book pick for the week is Star Wars, The High Republic, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. A new chapter begins for Star Wars, The High Republic. 150 years before the fall of Starlight, another beacon burns bright in the galaxy, a beacon of faith and spirituality. Jedha, the pilgrim moon, the Kyber heart. But tensions are rising in the holy city, and dark days are to come. Jedi Vildar Mak, a Jedi safe and secure in who he is and what he could be, arrives as Jedha's fragile peace begins to crumble. But a nightmare awaits, a nameless terror that will become the stuff of legend. Okay, as I mentioned near the very beginning of this video, I am not a massive Star Wars fan, but I am definitely a Star Wars fan. I enjoy Star Wars stories a lot and the world of Star Wars. there's no doubt that in the years, the decades, probably for the rest of my life and possibly for the rest of your life as well, we are going to be getting Star Wars stories. And we've already had the first volume of Star Wars, The High Republic, that focused on an age of the galaxy that we haven't seen in film and television shows, which is why I was very happy to speculate on that series. At one point, the Skywalker era, let's call it, is going to have to be an era we abandon. But there are stories in the galaxy, in the Star Wars universe, that take place over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And they're going to go to places like Star Wars, The High Republic, the first volume, and they're also going to go here. And here we have a book that it takes place 150 years before the first volume of Star Wars, The High Republic. So we have the first volume era, now we have the second volume era, and these are both separate eras that are equally, I think, as likely, that have the similar potential to manifest as a film or a television show somewhere in the future. And as I mentioned before, this is a video from me that's focusing on first appearances and, of course, a new book in a new era of Star Wars that previously has not really been explored much, especially not in television and film. It's going to come with first appearances. And according to Key Collector Comics, it says this book is the first appearance of Vildar Mak, a Jedi. They talked about this person in the description. First appearance of Tay Sirik. Don't know who that is, but there they are. And then it says here, Star Wars comic book expert website, drunkwookie.com, counts over 12 first appearances in this issue. 12 first appearances of Jedi, possibly bad guys, just stuff that is good to have in your back pocket. Because, like I said before, I believe that it is inevitable that all eras of Star Wars will be represented in film and television at some point. And they're going to pull from source material such as comic book series like this. And just to clarify once again, Key Collector also mentions this is phase 2 of the High Republic, set 150 years before the first volume. So because Star Wars is a phenomenon, because Star Wars is not going anywhere, because we're going to be seeing lots more Star Wars movies and film and movies and television shows in our lifetime, and because this is a new book with a new era with 12 possibly first appearances in it, if you like Star Wars at all, and especially if you like Star Wars spec potential, you'd be remiss not to consider picking up Star Wars, The High Republic, issue number 1 this week. And that is why it is my just one book pick. All right, that is all the books that we are going to talk about this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found something on the list to be particularly interesting, let me know about it down in the comments. If you like this video, likes are appreciated by me. And if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do that. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.